Alrighty, here we go. This is episode 204. And you know where we are? You know where we're going. Three, two, one. Alright, in the interest of full disclosure, Golden Waiver Recovery Operations. I like it. The reason why I didn't have a problem reading that title is I've seen this episode before. I just watched it a couple hours ago. This was the last in my slate. I'd watched 9 episodes today. It's the last of my slate of episodes for the day. Finish it, get into editing, start editing all the files. Realize I can't load 204 because the file was corrupted. It happens like once out of 100 times, right? This does not bode well. I remember saying that the first time too. So I'd already reacted to this. But we can't have a gap, one episode I never do that I never publish. So I'm watching it again. And you know what? The humor is hitting the second time. I didn't think it would. So I actually have a couple things I want to talk about because I thought I would just basically it's not going to be the usual format because I'm not reacting to the show because I've already seen the episode. It's the most recent one I've seen too. I like how she hadn't remembered this, right? Shut up. So this won't be in my normal format. My plan is to, unless interrupted by some good comedy, talk about like what I think about the filler versus the canon. Because I realized something. I was thinking, well, what the hell am I going to do? I'm going to do this again? What am I going to talk about? Like, I can't react to it. Like, I didn't think the humor was going to hit, for one thing. Because most of the humor is surprise. If you're not surprised, if you just saw these jokes, you're not going to laugh again, right? So it's going to be a shitty reaction. But so I started thinking about it, and I realized, think about the filler episodes. And you may actually be skipping a lot of these episodes and not rewatch them. So you may not have picked up on this. I love that hand animation. And that, like, whirlwind. You know I hate him as a simp. But I really like that animation. Good. That's right. You sad, lonely boy. But I realized something today. Thinking about this in the 2 hours I've had while I'm exporting the other files, I'm going to re-record this. And I might as well do a couple more. You know how it goes. So it's obvious to me that the showrunners like certain characters who are not getting much time in the manga, in the canon episodes, because the canon episodes I assume are pretty much closely following the manga. They're not really adding much to it. Think about it. Nico Robin has gotten more action in this, especially this run of episodes, this filler arc, than any time since the last filler episodes. She got a lot of action in the last filler episodes. Now, she did have a couple episodes in Skypiea where she was doing some shit. She was necessary to the plot because she's only can read that language, right? And she did fight the one guy. So I'm not saying she never gets the action. I'm just saying, I like that this little wave rider thing, dinghy, or what is that called? Lifeboat, canoe, whatever the hell it is, that it's passed on the bottom, right? It's pretty ramshackle. This was also funny, by the way. Although I did what I said the first time. This is starting to come back to me. What I said the first time was, it's a little. The one comedy that wasn't truly hitting for me was this whole thing of him not wanting to eat, and her making him eat. It feels a little bit too sitcom-y to me. It's not up to the level of the normal comedy of this series. So that wasn't really working for me. Most of the other jokes are working, especially the character jokes, because the showrunners understand the characters now, right? But anyway, what I was saying though, Nico Robin gets a lot of screen time in these filler arcs. They use her powers a lot. Like, they really know how to use her powers. This is her using her powers, in case you're wondering. In a way that we're not really seeing. Maybe this is stuff she does in the future in the anime, but in a way we're not really seeing in the anime. And she just gets more screen time. And Usopp gets more screen time. And Usopp is funnier here than he has been in the actual canon episodes in probably 50 to 100 episodes. He's had his moments here and there. But throughout this filler arc, now he doesn't get every episode because they're shifting. One episode would be Nami and Chopper. But the episodes that he's been in during these filler episodes, he's been hilarious. Like that one episode where like he was pretending to be the specialist. Chef's kiss. It was so funny. So here's what this tells me. The showrunners like Usopp and they like Nico Robin more than some of these other characters. Or at least they feel like they're not being served as much, so they're giving them more screen time during the filler episodes. That's my takeaway, which is not something I had really thought about before. But if you ever do go back and watch the filler episodes, which a lot of people just automatically skip them, that will tell you so much about what the showrunners actually prioritize. Because here's another thing: this guy right here, they prioritize smart villains, cerebral villains, rather than villains with powers. And you could maybe he's not a villain, you could call it an antagonist, but whatever. The antagonists in the canon episodes almost always have magic powers. The antagonists in the filler episodes, at least the ones I remember, mostly do not. He's one of their most formidable adversaries, and he has no powers whatsoever. Still calling him Condorio or whatever. By the way, I was predicting he was going to fire the big boss here. The first time watching this, I assumed he had the power to just remove him. But they mentioned if he does that, he has to take over command, and he doesn't want to take over command. So now that's why he went to the captain of the other ship, the one with all the injured people, right? And tries to use him as his own little personal army. But so what I thought was going to happen here didn't transpire. At least it hasn't yet, because I haven't seen beyond this episode. This is a good time to revisit it because I haven't seen the next episode yet. I really thought he was just going to fire this dude on the spot. Because, look, you lost the crew 3 times. You're incompetent. Get your ass out of here. That's what I thought was going to happen. But they went a different way with this. To me, I think it's a more foolish way. Because they seem to imply he has the power to replace this man and chooses not to because he would have to take over. That's dumb. That's not a good reason to not fire him. Then maybe, yeah, he wants to get this petty vengeance, right? You know why he wants to know. I like that the buck stops with him. Yeah, I've just now remembered something I want to do. This right here is the dialogue I'm thinking about. Right? He would never take command of this branch base. In other words, he wouldn't fire me. I was trying to see if I had missed any line of dialogue. I don't think so. You've been holding back, huh? I also didn't pick up on that the first time. I don't remember that. I think I was so hung up in the fact that he decided not to replace him. Yeah, he's trying to turn him into his own personal army. I don't know what his end game is here. What does he want? How does he want to interact with it? Maybe he wants the man in charge to fail again, like for a 4th time, and them completely get away, and then he will have all the justification he needs to replace him. Or maybe he just wants the gold. That just now occurred to me. Yeah, he's saying this. You think you can capture him by yourself with a ramshackle crew that are mostly these guys are injured, right? And they're hurt and they're undermanned. Half of them are in bed. They're demoralized. They're demoralized. So it just, that just doesn't, the plan doesn't make much sense unless he's got an ulterior motive we haven't heard of yet. So that was one of the things I was caught up on the first time I watched this. Of course, I also mocked Sanji for doing all the rowing and she's not going to help. Because of course she's not going to help because she's an asshole. But it seems clear to me upon reflection that the showrunners love Usopp. And I know some people, I think, yeah, I love that thing she does. I love that thing she does, right? Also, I love the implication she can't scout around when she's doing it, right? I like that. Idiot. Slap him awake. But Klaus is like rewatching these for the first time in like 15 years. I think he said. Yeah, he'd only ever watched. See, he hadn't even watched all of them, but he's watched some of the filler 15 years ago. People who are doing that for the first time because I'm watching them, or for maybe the first time in a long time, let me know if you think the same thing. Do you feel like the showrunners are showing preference for certain characters over others? I believe they are. I find that very interesting because I think they pretty much have to stick to the manga when they're doing the canon episodes. These filler episodes give them the opportunity to do what the hell they want. And you know what they keep doing? They like the little story arc with formidable villains, preferably without powers. Interesting, like the fact he's married to the cook, that whole like thing. That is interesting. I don't think the jokes are landing for me, but it's still very interesting. It gives him depth. He's a three-dimensional character. And dude's a genius, man. He's extremely smart. So they like those kind of villains, and they seem to prefer Chopper and Usopp. And Nico Robin. This is actually good. I'm picking up a little bit of dialogue I did the first time. I was pretty annoyed. Well, not even pretty. I hate repeating myself. I hate duplicating work I've already done. I don't have time to watch things twice. I just don't, right? So the fact that I was sitting there like, man, I gotta watch this again, I was really upset. But you know what? It's actually turned out to be very interesting. This is a good episode to do this with. I don't know if that would have been true for like a couple episodes ago where it's just basically just hijinks. This is good because this is a dialogue heavy episode. I've already picked up on a couple things I didn't pick up on the first time. What, man? I've got about half a squad left. So we're going to split what little I have left in two? Is that what you're saying? See, I didn't pick up on that either. I did not pick up on the fact that he told them you put half your men on your ship, right? Now, I do remember him saying you do have a ship that can still float, right? Because they apparently had several ships, right? I remember him saying that, but I didn't remember him, or I didn't notice him saying, put half your crew on one of your ships. So he's doing two things at once. Probably a getaway ship and enough men to carry the gold to the ship is what I think he's going to do. I don't think he's even going after them. I think he's after the gold. Where does he get all his wonderful toys, right? I remember this being really funny the first time because he gets smashed in. He gets messed up. Usopp does, and the other three are pretty much unscathed. Now, here's the thing: preferring characters doesn't necessarily mean they had the best time. They're not a Mary Sue. By the way, was that Japanese cuss words that we saw falling down? Doesn't mean it's Mary Sue. It means they preferred all the aspects of Usopp. Him scared, him getting punished. Look, he's the only one that suffers in this thing. The other three are fine. Him getting punished, him getting on top, like he's been on top a couple times. He's been very smart a couple times. He's been extremely helpful a couple times. I like the episode where he was using that force dial to absorb all the kinetic blows so he doesn't even feel the shock. And he can use that later, right? I love all that. So yeah, it's not that they're treating him like a creator's pet, which is a whole other thing. It's not a creator's pet. It's just they like the character, every aspect of the character. Yeah, pretty much never is a time to deal with these Marines. There's too many of them. Push forward. He's such a self-absorbed narcissist. Oh, that's right. They're trapping him, aren't they? I forgot about that. It's another trick. It's another trap. But these three of them are the most powerful members of the crew. You've got two overpowered magic people, and then you got Zoro. Like that's gonna be a lot. Like they're gonna be able to do a lot of damage. It's not gonna be good for the supposed good guys. And I know the Marines pretty much come in all flavors, right? Some of them are corrupt, some of them are good. That's why I call them adversaries rather than bad guys for the most part, unless they're demonstrated to be true, pure evil, right? Uh oh. I can't remember. Does Zoro kick his ass, or I think he? No, I mean, does Sanji kick his ass? We're not gonna do anything crazy. Oh, okay, punish me. You can't believe pirates. That's the whole problem. Uh oh, that's not good. Yep, that's right. You kicked his ass. That was a great line. Then go eat a lot and train some damn more. That was a really good line. I remember that line. Oh right, this is where the those things fall off. Oh my god, that was hilarious. That was really good. That when that first one falls off, the look on Usai's face. Then they don't really pay it off after that. The rest of them just kind of fall off. But that first one almost smashes his skull in, right? And he has a great look on his face. And then they don't really pay that off the rest of the episode. That was a little disappointing. I feel like they should have done a little bit more with that. Rule of three, man. Have a couple more narrowly missing or something. I like how angry Zoro gets about this. that look on his face, that's really good. He's like, hey, yep, I like it. And yeah, there's nothing behind this. I don't think they show us. They show the door falling, and there's a very funny moment where Luffy, the hole falls where Luffy's standing, and he thinks it's hilarious. He starts laughing. It also falls where Usopp stands, right? But then I don't think they show us what's in there. I think it's just a blank wall. Yeah, but I remember predicting at the time there's no way the gold's in there because he knows the commander knows that they're going for the gold. They know that they're going to think the gold's behind this wall. I speculated that maybe it's just a blank door against a wall, right? It's a door against a blank wall, in other words, as kind of a catch-all because you know what's happening to pirates. You guys take care of the rest of it, right? They're all yours now. Another hilarious moment. Yeah, he's a big boy. That always cracks me up. I'm on it, boss. But I forgot what I was saying. But basically, like it seemed pretty obvious there was no gold or there was no treasure of any kind behind that door, right? The door is so you're dealing with pirates. That's what I was going to say. You're dealing with pirates. So you have a trap laid out for any pirates who ever happen to get this far in, right? They will not be able to walk past this door without trying to open it. And I think it's designed to crush you. Now that I think about it, that right there, that's hilarious. Look at that look on his face. Yeah, yeah, they come off. See, and then they don't pay that off. But now that I think about it, I think it's designed for the door to kill you if you try to open the door. Think about it. That's a terrible design for a safe or a vault door. Why would you design a vault door that falls in and crushes everybody in like 100-foot radius, right? Like that makes no sense. So that's part of the trap, I think. Now that I think about it, the entire thing is a trap. The real vault's somewhere else, right? But the scale of it is so large, like no pirate's gonna be able to walk past that without trying to get in, and then probably will kill them. And if it doesn't, you have all these doors that can close and keep them trapped in, right? So it's very smart if I'm right about that. From the moment the fortress was created, it was designed for that. I like that she's using one of those things. See again, they like to use her. Oh darn! Let me choke them out. Here's the thing: she's pretty light on her feet too, even without using her powers. Right? Her avoiding that sword is not something just anybody could do. That's right. You'll know when it's open. Oh, he starts running away from it like Prometheus. Can't believe I was angry I had to watch this again. This has been great, man. I don't have time to watch them all twice, but I think a lot of them probably do merit being seen twice, right? You better retreat. But see, doesn't this Luffy just standing there, right? Doesn't this look like this whole thing is just designed as a trap? That's Luffy laughing. His vault is so neat. He thinks everything's neat. I don't think they show us what's back there, other than saying there's no gold, right? Yeah, and then they cut outside, so they don't show us what's inside. That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, I saved that son of a bitch immediately without even doing my outro, which I should only take a minute or two. I'm like, I'm not taking any chances. I'm saving the son of a bitch. I just checked. It did work. It saved. Thank effing Christ. I enjoyed the second time. I did not want to do a third time. I probably would just not. Just skip it. Hey, dude, you can look for it somewhere else because like there will never be a 204 reaction. Maybe after a year. I'd come back after a year or something. Anyway. So what do what's the bottom line here? It's interesting they didn't show what was behind the door. Now that I think about it, I'm gonna watch the next one right now, so it'll be interesting to see like what they pay off with that. I'm assuming it's just gonna be a blank wall. The door was just there as a trap because he immediately said there's no gold at all. You wouldn't know that if there's like a huge chamber with various shelves and cabinets and stuff like that, and maybe piles of stuff and blankets and tarps thrown over things. If it was a storeroom that they just hadn't put the treasure in, you wouldn't be able to immediately look at it and say, "Hey, there's no gold there." It would have to almost be a blank wall, which is what I think it was. But yeah, you know what? This was not as painful as I thought it was going to be.